What you're looking at here is monofilament fishing line, which is on a line testing machine. We want to see how strong it is, so I'm going to push the button. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 12.9 pound test this line is testing out at right now. We're going to tie some knots in this line and show you how that affects the strength in just a moment, because it's Thursday night and time for Michigan Outdoors.
From the rugged shore and woodlands of the north, it's history of copper mines and iron ore, the Great Lakes fisheries. To the farmlands of the southern counties we'll look around again, at all that waits the sportsman in the state of Michigan.
Well, our fishing line expert, Bob Knopf. Bob, welcome. He came all the way from Spirit Lake, Iowa, from the Berkley Line Company. They make monofilament fishing line. And of course, anglers don't really know that much about line, and knots especially. Which is more important, the line or the knot?
They're both important, but the knot can really weaken your line, and most people aren't aware of it.
Well, as we have on the machine here, there's a little knot, just an overhand knot. A lot of you fishermen have experienced this in the end of your line, just like that. What does a little knot like this in your line do? Does it make any difference? Well, let's see. Let's zero the counter here, Bob, and take us down to...
Most people aren't aware, but a little knot like that overhand knot can cut their line strength by about 40% sometimes.
Well, let's see. Remember, this broke at 12.9. We're up to 6.61. Well, that's about half the strength. A simple overhand knot in your line like that can affect it, knock the strength down by half. That means you're only fishing with 6-pound test when you thought you had almost 13. Well, that brings up the subject of knots. What knots are good and what knots aren't? All of you have heard about the clinch knot. I'm going to show you right here how to tie it. This is what most anglers tie. Now, if you're in a hurry, you take the line and maybe wrap it around, say 3 times and up through the loop. Now, this is what you probably thought was the best knot to use with monofilament fishing line. Bob, what's the problem with the clinch knot?
The problem with this is that can slip out. If you only use 3 wraps, like if you caught a fish and you want to get back in the water quick, it usually pops right out.
Okay, well, we'll push the button on the machine and see what we get here.
It's slipping out now.
Okay, we can see right up here the line is slipping, so this won't break at all. That pulled right out, 2.90, about 3 pounds. This is what frequently happens with a clinch knot. So, what you have to do to make that clinch knot stronger is tie more wraps with it. Instead of 3 times around, we'll go around, what do you recommend?
6 would be a big improvement.
6.
You should get a couple extra pounds by doing that.
Okay.
But it's not real consistent now. It can slip out even with 6 wraps.
Okay, well, let's try it here. We have the machine here, which, remember, that was 2.9. We'll zero it again. There we go. That's pretty close. Now, this is with 6 wraps. The clinch knot was 6 wraps. Well, we're up to... Now, that pulled out again, but we got 7.8 pounds of strength on that. Remember, we're talking line that breaks at almost 13 pounds. So right there, the knot is, well, that's about 60%.
Right.
That's about what the clinch knot test
Yeah,
out
that
at.
does that fairly consistent. You can almost guarantee it'll pull out when you put a lot of force on it.
Well, there's a knot that you've probably heard about, read about in the fishing magazines, called the Trilene knot, and they say it has about 90% strength.
It's the knot in our studies. We've tied hundreds of knots every year, and it's the knot that we've found to be the strongest. You simply take your line through the hook eye twice, and that acts as a cushioning on the line. You make your wraps just like you do in the standard fisherman's knot, about 4 to 6 times, and then you take the end and go back through both loops. And when you pull it up, then you pull it down nice and snug.
That's called the Trilene knot. We'll take it back down here. Okay, Bob, this line just straight broke at 12.9. Oh, we got 11.43.
Right.
That's about 90% right there.
Right. Your goal is to have it break above the listed strength on the label.
Of course, if you have it break above the listed strength, you've got one heck of a knot. Well, this is the Trilene knot. If you didn't catch how to tie this, we have a little card that can show you how to tie the Trilene knot. Just write to us here. We'll have the address coming up later in the show. We'll send this to you, and you can tie a knot almost every time. That's 90% the line strength, the best knot you can get. Well, Bob, come on back next week and give us some tips
All right, well,
on tying. There's some more tips, things that